Good day everyone. So for today's discussion, we will going to discuss the class boundaries and class marks. Let us define first the class boundaries. So the class boundaries are the data values which separate classes. Midpoint of upper class is limit of one class and lower class limit of the subsequent class. What is upper boundaries? It is defined as average of the upper limit of the class in a question and the lower limit of the next class. Then the lower boundaries is defined as the average of the lower limit of the class in question and the upper limit of the previous class. Okay, to we have more deeper understanding how we get the class boundaries in our data. Let me show you how we get the class boundaries using upper and lower boundary. Hello everyone. So for today, I will going to show you how we get the CB or the class boundary. So for today, we have already data, frequency, and we should find the CB or the class boundary. So LB stands for lower boundary and UB stands for the upper boundary. So we just need to look our data. So here we have a lower boundary. Always remember that LB is on the left side and the UB or the upper boundary is on the right side. So okay, before we got the CB or the class boundary, we have a formula. First, always remember class boundary before we have an LB is always on minus 0.5 while the upper boundary is plus 0.5. So that is how we get the lower and upper boundary on the class boundary. So in our data, we have a 10 in the lower boundary here. And in our upper boundary, we have a 15. And we should do is minus 0.5 is equal to 9.5. While the upper boundary is we have 15 plus 0.5. So is equal to 15.5. So that's how we get the upper and lower boundary in the class boundary. So this is a lower, this is a upper. Earlier we have a 10, so we have 9.5. Next, in our upper boundary is 15.5. So we just repeat what we done earlier. So we have that's it. We have already a class boundary. It's just so simple. And now let us proceed to class marks. It is a value within a class interval, especially its midpoint or the nearest integral value. It used to represent the interval for computational convenience. Also, the class mark is known as the midpoint. It is a value that in the center of a class and represent all values that are in a certain category. So what is the class mark for? So the class mark has a great functionality to reach the arithmetic mean and the variance of a certain group of data that in turn have already been grouped into different classes. And for us has a deeper understanding how we can get the class mark in the statistical analysis for organizing the test score. Let me show an example. Now let us proceed to the CM or the class mark. So it is a simple. We have a formula for that mark. So we should follow the formula. We have a L B plus U B all over 2. Okay, that's it. So earlier we have an LB set of 10 plus, so our upper boundary we have 15. So over 2. Next, so we should we have 25, right, over 2. Next, 25 divided by 2 is equal to 12.5, equals 12.5. So this will be our CM for the class mark. So get 12.5. So we should repeat what we've done earlier. That is how we get class mark. So I hope you learned something from me. That's all. Thank you.